Hello and welcome to the Bobby Freakout Hour. It has been so long since I've recorded a full hour show, vloggy variety show, that I've got no idea what's happened since the last one. I can tell you that I just recently got these mics, or this mic, and now I'm doing that cool thing where you get a stick and you put it on the end of a mic and then you talk into it. That way, hopefully, the audio is a little bit better. I've also decided that I'm not going to bother trying to do a live show at home anymore, because for some reason I keep saying, I'm going to do this live show and I'm going to do it at home and it's going to be great and people are going to tune in, and then no one tunes in and there's no point me doing it at a certain time or anything like that. So I'm fitting it into my schedule as best I can at the moment and making it much more of a vlog show than a variety show, which means much more recording at the park like this with, let me just move the camera a bit, a dog standing on the table. I don't know what she's looking at specifically, but that's what she's doing. I'll keep her in frame just a little bit there. She wants a pat on the table here, but I don't really feel like giving her one just yet. I gave her a real good pat just a second ago. So a lot has happened since the last episode of the Bobby Freakout Hour. I'm getting better at doing the daily Freakout, so please check that out if you like a little bit of news and current affairs. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Come on. If you're watching this, then you've probably watched a few of my other videos before, and you should just let me know what I'm doing wrong. Here she comes. Hello. Yes. Hello. We went on a big bike ride, which was pretty exciting. We had some relatives down from Queensland, and even though my car was off the road, I decided that we're going to try and make it to go to this family sort of get together. And we ended up riding 2 days of 50 kilometres each day. If you're in Victoria or Melbourne, you know that I went from Rye to Seaford, pretty distant, pretty long way. Now, hold on a second. I might edit this out, but she's now. So we went. We went all the way to Seaford on the bike to my sister's house, and we stayed there in a tarp tent. So that was really fantastic. Got to do a bit of bike riding and bike touring, which I really like to do. I'll try to include some photos here. The dogs got a really long test of what it would be like if we were on the road, which was really good. They loved it. They might not have loved it, but they definitely didn't show any signs of it being a problem. We discovered that Doctor doesn't mind jumping on the back of the saddlebags or the panniers and riding up on there. We discovered that Asher doesn't like to run quite as much as Doctor, but I think we already knew that. And so she spent a lot more time in the trailer. I think out of the 50Ks for each day, Doctor ran at least 10K, I think. I'm just based on what I feel like what we did. She was really running so much. It was fantastic to see her do that, because she quite enjoyed it, which I think she did. She kept doing it. Like, I kept giving her the option to get in the trailer, and even though it was a tight squeeze with her sister, she did it, and it wasn't a problem. And at times she would whinge and complain about being in the trailer, and so I'd let her out and she'd run, and then by the end of the day she was like, oh no, I'll get in the trailer, that's fine. But she was always keen to get out, and she didn't show any signs of distress or soreness or anything. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And given how old they are, because they've turned 10, well, they were 10 when we did the ride. What am I talking about? They turned 10 in like January, February. So given that they're 10, which makes them like 60 to 70 years old in human terms, I mean, I hope I can run that much when I'm that age. It just, really great stuff. And we did a tent tarp camp, which was really good as well. So we were quite warm with merino thermals, merino sleeping bag thing, and just blankets and stuff. I only took one blanket, one sleeping bag, the oilskin ground cover, that kind of stuff, and it all worked out really, really well. So it's giving me high hope for future camping trips and future adventures and stuff like that. Even though I don't think I don't think we're actually going to do any big bike trips. But I now know that we can do small bike trips, which is pretty good. As much as I would like to go long-term bike riding with them, as they block the camera. Ash is down between my legs as well, getting a pat. As much as I'd like to do long bike tours and bike trips and stuff with them, it's not, I don't think it's feasible. The van is still my goal at the moment. The greenhouse is doing fantastic. I'm going to include a clip here of the greenhouse from when I was first putting the plants back in there. And then later today or later this week sometime, I'm hopefully going to film a new segment of the greenhouse and how well it's doing, because everything's going well in there. So you'll see a lot of plants that have been neglected getting put into the greenhouse. Just know that they have pretty much all come good and they're all looking great. I've got a geocaching adventure. I still haven't done enough geocaching recently. I feel like I'm way behind on that. I've got a couple down that way that I still want to get to, but that's going to take a bike ride. And for some reason, even though I'm not working too much at the moment, I'm feeling very tired on my days off and wanting to just lay around and do nothing. And so trying to film and do the daily Freakout and then trying to do a dog walk with these guys, I get home and I don't want to do anything else. I just want to sit and do nothing. So the house is a bit of a mess and the backyard's a mess and I haven't gone caching. So I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I know I've got a lot of hobbies and I try to do a lot of things, but I don't understand how some people are able to get so much done in their days. My theory is that it's because they earn enough that they can pay people to do the incidental things. Like, you know, when you hear about like people who are like, oh, I'm a self-made man, and it's like, yeah, but your wife cooks for you and cleans. So you don't cook and clean. So she's helping you. Even though like you probably could have done it without her, she's helping. She is part of the team. She's doing work for you. Whereas because I am completely solo by choice, it means that I feel like I struggle a bit more with stuff. I'm also not good at that kind of stuff as well. Like, it's not my general stuff. It's not my strong point. So yeah, going to include a geocaching video as well in this episode, and can't remember what else I've got. Oh, I think I've got a woods video as well. I've got a couple of woods videos that I haven't put up, so you'll see those as well. So this is the Bobby Freakout Hour. I can't even remember what number it is. I was going to check before I recorded this, but I just started recording. So this is the Bobby Freakout Hour. Thank you very much for tuning in. Here are some clips, and I'll be back in a bit.
Hello, and welcome to the greenhouse. It's starting to rain, so good thing we've got the greenhouse and we're going to go in there right now. The greenhouse used to be in a different spot. It is now here. It is now protected a little bit. It used to be over there, but it is now in here, and oh, here we go. So the greenhouse now is protected. It is sitting next to or under the canopy of the veranda, awning, whatever you want to call it, next to the house, because I can't remember. I'm going to assume you haven't seen this, you don't know. The greenhouse was sitting over in a section which I thought was going to get heaps of sun. It was going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. And then we got some wind, and the wind blew the greenhouse 10 meters. And it damaged things, it broke a few things. Luckily, the greenhouse managed to stay in relatively good condition. And I managed, after a lot of humming and hawing, to get it all put back together and get it all into shape. And so it's now sitting here next to the house. I've just moved a couple of plants in here because it's starting to get cold. We're definitely in autumn now, there's no doubt about that. And so I've moved the coffee plant in here, which is doing well, but has had some unfortunate action going on the top there. This citrus, I'm not sure exactly what this citrus is another example of my... I leave plants too long. That's the problem. I just leave them too long. I don't put the care in consistently. And so that's doing well. The jasmine's just behind it, and it is recovering quite nicely. So let me do a quick tour, if you want, for want of a better word, as to what's going on. I was just mowing the lawn, that's why I've got the earmuffs on, and was continuing to listen to podcasts. So actually I can take them off. So here we go, quick tour. So down here we have our pineapples that have been repotted. I got these pineapples when I was working a couple of years ago now in a bar, and we had pineapples, and I took the tops off and took them home, dried them out, and they've grown a bit, but again, as I always seem to do in the garden, I've let things go, haven't maintained them enough, and so they haven't been doing well. And this summer they did not do well at all. So I'm hoping that a winter in the greenhouse will help them recover. So that's the pineapples. The coffee plant. The coffee plant has done fantastically over the summer, although not as much as I kind of wanted it to. I think I need to put a little bit more food into it. It has had the same issue that the 2 magnolia plants that I planted a while ago have had, which is birds, possums, something, not the dogs, but something is digging up the soil. So down here you can see the roots are a little bit too close to the soil, and it's all been dug, animals have been digging it up and stuff out there in the wild. So hopefully a little bit of a top up with some compost and mulch is going to bring that back. That's what I'm going to be doing in a second, or I say a second, but in an hour or two. Geraniums that I got from a gardening job ages ago that I don't actually care for. These are the ones that have survived, so they're going to stay up there and hopefully do okay. They've got heaps of grass weeds in them. They haven't got that much soil. Again, not really sure what I'm going to use them for, but they're in here so that they can have a bit of a better time than they had out there during winter. Down here in the back, I can't even remember what that's called, if I'm being honest with you. It's an indoor plant that, again, was not watered enough inside, so it's out here now. It'll probably go back inside soon. It's fantastic. It's just got a really nice leaf to it, so I'll probably take that back inside over winter. One of the thoughts and hopes that I've got for the greenhouse is that plants can come out here, get some recovery time, some humidity, some light, some all that kind of stuff, and then go back inside, and I can have a rotation going. That's the thought. The jasmine in the back here, looking fantastic. I don't know if we can see that little flower too well. Where is it? There it is, I think. That jasmine looked like it was almost dead at one point. There was no leaves. It was just stumps. It was terrible. It has come back and flowered a few times in the last couple of months, and I am really pleased with it. I'm really loving that one. Over here, I can't remember what that one's called either. It's a type of fern. I think it's a kangaroo paw fern. That looks like cactus. It's almost practically dead. I don't care for it. It's a nice plant, but I just don't care about it, so it's whatever. This citrus is having a major recovery after some abuse and some neglect, as is with all my plants. It has just got so many fantastic new growth shoots on it. Citrus would be one of the plants that I would recommend to people if they wanted to start gardening, because you can leave it and ignore it and treat it poorly and then prune it and water it and it'll come back. It'll shoot from almost anywhere. And yeah, so citrus is something I'd recommend if you're new. Fiddle leaf, again, I'm just trying to get new growth on it and get it recovering. It needs some compost and some soil. I think we've got a new leaf coming out just there. Again, fiddles can be a little bit temperamental, I've found, and again, my style of sort of neglectful gardening doesn't work well for it. So it's out here to try and get some recovery time, as is the other fiddle, which has had the same kind of situation. It has had it's been in the bathroom and has not had a great time. A lot of neglect again, as with all my plants, So hopefully, fingers crossed. The Cuba japonica, same thing. The gold dust plant is coming back. It doesn't look great at the moment, but it is coming back. The Monstera, I think that's a Monstera technically. I don't know if the size of Monstera. That's another one that I've sort of been neglecting, and I'm just sort of letting it do its thing over there. I think I might need to move it to the other side of the greenhouse to get a bit more sun. The peace lilies all recovering from neglect. Everything is pretty much recovering from neglect at the moment in here, which is it's so disappointing on my part, because I really enjoy plants, but then I just get lost and I don't think about them, and I go do other stuff and they get neglected, and it's a real shame. One of the really cool things that I want to talk about in the greenhouse today is this bad boy. So I've got a dual car hot tap. There it is, gas tank or gas bottle, and this is my shower. I'm a hippie. I'm trying to be off-grid as much as possible. I'm one person. I don't think having an electric hot water constantly keeping water hot is the best way to go, because it's just a cost that I don't want. Obviously gas bottles are a cost as well, but the cool thing I love about having this out here is that I come out here and even on a cool day, the greenhouse is warmish. Then when I turn this on and have hot water going in here, it heats up almost like a sauna. It then means that I'm constantly looking and checking on my plants. It also means that I'm watering them with the cold water before it gets hot. And it also means that they all get a nice humid start to the day in here. Or as it'll be today, more of a lunchtime warmth. And I just love it. I love showering in here because it's warm, it's nice, all the plants, the oxygen's good. Maybe it's better than inside, I don't know. And yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. I love it so much. And so that is a tour, a little what's going on here in the greenhouse. I've got a bunch of stuff set up that I want to start doing some seedlings and stuff over winter. We'll see what we can get going for summer. I don't know how long I'm going to be living here. I don't know how long I'm going to have the greenhouse. So part of me just wants to get all these plants really healthy and happy, and hopefully at some point I can sell them on. I want to put some herbs and stuff and actually use these tiny little cute ones that I've got, and mid-sized ones, and you can see how many pots I've broken as to how many saucers I've still got left over, because that's a shame. And I've got a bunch of cactus out in the outside still, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing with them. They're fantastic. They were all found on the side of the road. I don't really want to bring them in here because they're spiky, and they need to be on the ground because they're so tall, and I don't really have that much more ground space. But at the same time, I don't really want them to be outside, even though they do okay outside. So we'll see. That's another experiment that'll happen soon. But anyway, that is the end of the greenhouse. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll throw it back to me in the studio.
So that was the greenhouse. As you can see, all the plants were not looking that great at the time, but they're looking fantastic now. They're all really loving the greenhouse. The greenhouse is one of my big success stories at the moment. The combination of showering in there, causing it to be a bit hot and humid. Nothing's drying out. Everything's showing some good love. I'm hoping today that I'm going to get some sea salt and some potting mix, and I'm going to not only start some more plants, but also top up a few things. I've got to scoop out some of my compost, which I've neglected my compost as well, and include that in some of the plants to get the nutrients, and some sea salt to hopefully improve a few things. At least one citrus is not looking so great at the moment, but yeah, we'll see how we go. I might get home and end up not doing anything because it's been, I'm just tired in general. And as I said before, I'm tired, so I'm not going geocaching. But here's the last time I went geocaching. Here's the most recent geocaching adventure. had a strange Welcome to another geocaching adventure. Today we're grabbing a few caches down on the peninsula that I can't get to with the dogs because dogs aren't allowed. And so I've ridden down. The ride here was all in the rain, which was terrible. Just give me a second, there's a little path here. That is what looks like a well-used path. They really want you to know that there are no dogs here or allowed here, which is annoying because I would love to bring my dogs here. So yeah, the ride here on my bike was all in the rain, and that was not good. It wasn't terrible. I've got my merino thermal on underneath this jacket with a t-shirt, and toasty warm, absolutely toasty warm. Also, today is the first day of the season, of the year, where I am wearing my big woolen, my winter socks, and oh, my feet feel fantastic in my Lem's shoes. It's just such a nice feeling. No matter what, you always, whenever you make a purchase, you're always sort of like, oh, is that the right purchase? I don't know. It's trying to not waste your money, that kind of thing. And I bought these socks a long time ago, and I only wear them for a few months of the year when I'm outdoors and stuff like that. And they are some of the best things I've ever done. And now with these boots, I am just so happy, so happy. It always makes a difference when your feet are comfortable. So we're grabbing a few caches today. I've already grabbed one. Let me throw in a little bit of footage from that cache, from that grab. It's a little bit windy for this one, but the hiking will start soon. And so that was the first one right up at the beach. The annoying thing about that one was, first off, when I'd finished, as I was signing the log, some people turned up and then they moved. But then some more people turned up, and one of them got out to have a cigarette, and they all just sat there in their car. And I was like, oh, how long are they going to take before I can go put this cache back? And I thought, screw it. So I just went and put the cache back. And so I keep checking. I'm going to check that log again and see if they were caches or not. I don't think they were, but it'd be funny if they were, because the cache hasn't been found for a couple of months. So to have two people turn up at the exact same time would be funny. There's another path going directly down to someone's house, which is completely fair enough. So, we're grabbing a few caches, as I said, and we're now going to go away from the houses, which I quite like. There's something about houses down here. I don't even have to go into that house, and I sort of have a feel for it. Over the years of my childhood, we came down to the peninsula a number of times, not too many, but a number of times. And there is something about the smell of the trees, the climate, and just the architecture and all that kind of stuff that just feels so nice. I don't know what it is. I really cannot figure another path going to someone's house, most likely. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out exactly what it is. I'm sure it's got to do with just the nostalgia. But we went to other places as well in my youth. But I feel like the peninsula must have been the one that we came to the most. And so as I said, the climate, the temperature, all that kind of stuff just feels so nice. So even though I've been living down here for 9 years, it still feels nostalgic in a holiday kind of way.
even I'm tired of saying this, but caching brings you to some of the places that you never would have come to previously. So straight across there you can actually see the bay. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can actually see the bay, and then on this side you can see the ocean, which there's just something really cool about that. You sort of, sometimes you forget you live on a peninsula, and being able to see the bay and the ocean just really makes for it. So I just found the cache here at Mount St Paul's. The view, as you can see, is fantastic. The wind is also absolutely terrible, so I'm really close to the camera. I don't know if I've got it too close, or we'll see. Fantastic cache up here. But I bumped into a family of 5, and they were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I just went straight into, "Oh, I'm caching," because I look dodgy. And I realised how stupid I look in the amount of camo that I have. My backpack's camo, my jacket's camo, my hat's camo. Like, I look like an absolute crazy person. So I quickly just went straight into, "Hey, do you know what caching is?" And I introduced them to caching, and showed them. Me and the kids actually found the cache here, of which I'm standing pretty much on top of. And fantastic little thing. Hopefully they do it and they get out there and they do some caching. But I've really got to put some effort into finding some clothes that are not camo. That's the goal. That's what I'm trying to work on. I've had some food. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring a spoon for my soup, which is really annoying, so I used a stick. But I've had my coffee, which was nice, and I'm on to the next one now, so I'm going to get out of this wind. Fantastic how you can go from being up in the wind and struggling to underneath an embankment and a canopy, and it's almost silent again. Part of me really likes being in the outdoors and stuff for that, but pretty much for that reason. The exposure to wild conditions and weather just feels good. Just feels like it's good for you. Obviously it's not great when you're doing it, but the hot shower I'm going to have when I get home is going to be fantastic. And speaking of which, I'm really pleased I've done what I think is a great job of clothing today. The merino thermal with the t-shirt under this jacket is absolutely perfect. Nice little camp spot there. Obviously you can't camp in here, but that's where I'd go. So this isn't an official path, but it's led me out right into the wind. And just such a wonderful location. I can imagine in summer people are probably down here having little picnics where they should be. You can see all the roots. You can even see some footprints. It'll be a fun place to explore, but I'm just not in the mood right now. I'm going to head back to the proper path. I had to answer a couple of questions, which I've done, and I've sent it away and I've logged it. It was fantastic. It had to do with this kind of rock here, I believe. I think I got the right rock. I hope so. But this is just a fantastic bay. Look at this.
unfortunately, because it's such an overcast and miserable kind of day, I'm not going to venture down, but wouldn't it be great like to have a little picnic here or something on a nice warm day? Fantastic. Even though it's such a small little bay, you can really feel how insignificant humanity is compared to everything that goes on the earth. Almost makes me feel like I'm in a Game of Thrones type situation. Expect some boats or something to come in through there. But anyway, I now have to walk all the way back to the first one, get on the bike, and then head off and maybe get another one on the way home.
Let's get started.
Oh, so this is the end of the first section of the adventure for today, and this is when we discover if the bike is still there. I had a strange feeling that someone might just take a wheel or something off. Oh, it's there. I can see it, and it appears that the wheel and everything is still there. It is. Oh, thank God. It's always such a worry whenever you go for a hike that you get back to the top of the trailhead and you wonder, is my transport still going to be there? Is my bike or my car or whatever still going to be there? And in this case, my ridiculously heavy, oversized chain has done it, and my bike is still here. Okay, so it's starting to rain. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, I was looking at the caching map and I was like, wait a second, there was another one that I was going to get and I couldn't see it. So, from here to home, there is a slight detour and there's another cache. It is a multi-cache. So, part of me is not sure. There is things I have to do. You know, I'm going to go to one point, get some numbers, go to a second point. Getting to this one, I will then need to do three extra spots as part of the what's it called? Okay, so. Oh no, it's only been found once this year and that was in at the end of January, and it says here starting this cache some 6 months ago and now came back to finish it off. Waypoint number 3 is a highlight. Then another one is finally found it, taking bloody months to figure out the clues. With a little help from the CO we were able to find it. Took us a while but we found it. Like the previous cache, this attempt was done on 3 separate occasions. Some people have posted some pictures, looking good. I'm really not sure if I want to do it or not, but I live remarkably close to this one, so it is possible for me on a better day to head down and get it. And technically I found 3 today, which has got me a fair few more smileys, which is great. So maybe I do this one on a different day, given that it's 3 o'clock and it's wet and I'm not in the mood. And by the time I get riding, I'm probably going to be even wetter. So you know what? I'm not going to do the next one, which the next one is called Rye Ramblings. W-R-Y Ramblings. I'm not going to do it, but I am going to do it another day sometime soon. So maybe in a couple of days I'll do that, and that'll be the next geocaching adventure, because it's effectively 3 or so caches in one. So that's pretty cool. So, thank you very much for tuning in. This is the geocaching adventures from Bobby Freakout. I don't know, something like that.
This has been a great day. I always say this when I'm doing these caches down here. Come down to the Mornington Peninsula. Pick a better day than today, than a rainy day like today. But come down to the Mornington Peninsula and check out the caches because they're fantastic. There are so many on the peninsula. You'll need multiple days to do them. I've taken years to get round to doing all of these caches, and I've still got a heap more to do. But yeah, so this has been a fantastic one, a fantastic little walk. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.
There's something about geocaching that I just love. I really do enjoy going. It incorporates going camping sometimes. It incorporates climbing. All the outdoor activities can be incorporated into geocaching. I've got to ask a friend of mine whether I can get some help to get a geocache that's in a tree. So I need some professional tree climbing equipment. That's something that, like, what other activity will include, like, bike riding, like going bike touring, and then going camping, and then going climbing in a tree, plus a bit of orienteering and a bit of map work, using your GPS. But then it can also be urban. Like, geocaching's just got everything, in my opinion. It's just such a fun game. But it's a shame that most young people don't have the time to do it because they are, or the ability to do it because they are young people and they don't have a car, they don't have the money and all that kind of stuff. It feels like you need to have a lot of spare time and a lot of money in order to do geocaching because of the fact that you've got to get places and stuff like that. So it's a shame in that regard. But there's no reason why kids can't do it in the city or in suburbs and stuff like that. So maybe there should be some incentives. I don't know, somehow we can work out some kind of incentives like that for geocaching. Because almost every kid I know that I've spoken to, because where I work with a bunch of teenagers, and every one of them has heard of geocaching and done it like one or two times and had a go at it. But obviously there's other things in their lives, so they're not obsessed with it. But then they don't seem to continue doing it. The appeal isn't there. And I kind of get that. I understand. Because there's other things. There's drinking and parties and all that other stuff. But so it's mostly us middle-aged white men that do it. But I don't care. I really enjoy doing it, so I want to do more of it. And that was my most recent geocaching adventure. Off the top of my head, I can't remember which woods we're going to be seeing right now, but I've recently started doing the camp food review, turning it into the woods, where I just do things in the woods and pretend to be camping and stuff like that. I've actually found a new spot just near work that I'm going to be spending a lot more time in and doing woods videos, because I can go in there and do like a half hour to an hour on my lunch break, which is going to be great. With my new mic and my new technology, it's going to be great. So that's going to be fun. But for now, here's an episode of The Woods. Hello and welcome to The Woods, a new segment on the Bobby Freakout Hour, which kind of used to be called Camp Food Review, but I've now decided to expand Camp Food Review out to hiking and woodland style fun activities. Today's activity is hiking. The way I go to work, there's a bridge that you go over the freeway, and from that freeway you can see what looks like a woods, and then it stops, and then there's like obviously it's a drop, and if you know about the area, you know it's the quarry. And the goal for today is to make it to that point and be able to look out from that spot, look out over the quarry, over the freeway, to the water, etc., etc. I am sitting at the point, without revealing anything, the closest point I can. And yeah, this is the hiking. This is the hike or a hiking adventure as part of the woods. So here we go. Let's go. Okay, we are at the start of the trail. We're going to be going up there. Let's get on with it, because I feel like I've had too many
too many stops and too many things holding me up back today, so I just want to get on with it. So let's get up there. The views are pretty good though, and I think they're only going to get better. And the whole point of this climb and this adventure is to get a good view. We're only a little bit of the way in. I'm already going to take the shirt off. I rode my bike here and it's currently getting serviced and some new parts down at the shop. So that's why I'm carrying a bike helmet for anyone who cares. And I realised that I didn't fill my water bottle up. So I don't have any water for this trip. I do have some soup, which will be hydrating. But yeah. So if it wasn't for this silly idea that I had to see or to go to a certain spot on the map, I would never have discovered this beautiful environment where you've got a section that would be ripe for camping, which we're not going to do because we can't, but then you've also got just through here beautiful little picnic spot almost. Ladies, if this is your kind of thing, if you like this kind of camping and hiking and stuff, going a bit of an adventure and having like a picnic in an area like that, hit me up, because that's the kind of lady I'd like to be with. So we've hit a point here where there's actually a fence and what looks like a road. So I assume, based on the map I've got, we're at the edge of the council reserve, which is in this little middle section. So I don't know. Okay, we are dripping sweat like you wouldn't believe. Christ. I am well knackered, as some people might say. The heart is going quite intensely. I brought my ground sheet / poncho to sit on, and I shouldn't have done that because it's heavy. Oh, so we're at a fork in the road, kind of. So up that way just keeps going up and up, and that way goes left, for want of a better phrase, and that's the way we want to go. So I'm hoping, based on using the Gaia app, which has contours on it, that this is going to be some slightly flatter walking than what we've done just there. So we've gotten to our first sign of the quarry, and given that the goal is to be sitting sort of on the top of the quarry looking out, this is a sign, not necessarily good or bad. There's wonderful, what looks like a bike trail going down beside the fence, but yeah, interesting point in the walk that we've made it to. So, on the map, this fence isn't here. On the map I'm using. So this fence isn't here, and so I was hoping to potentially go down that road. But as you can see, there's a lot of signs. It doesn't look particularly like the security camera is actually doing anything. I mean, that camera looks like it's been broken a while ago. But it is a quarry. It is a functioning quarry. And it's better safe than sorry, I think. We've got a key there, which is so high that I would assume it's for trucks. But it's so rusted out, I assume it hasn't been used in a while. Okay, so we've got our first major left, or we've got a major left here, and Arthur's Seat Road being that way. So we're going to go this way, and there's a path going. It's a path going that way, which is two ways. It's the Friends track. But the OT Dam and Boundary Road. So, and also check this out. How nice is that? I don't have any real interest in visiting like major cities around the world. But if I was going to travel around the world, I would travel to spots to go hiking like this. Because all the trees here are predominantly Aussie natives. Like the main canopy above me is eucalyptus of some kind. I've got to improve my tree knowledge. I've got a bunch of ferns and stuff on the lower levels, but it's all pretty much Aussie natives. And so I can sort of imagine this being out in the middle of nowhere, no before white man, all that kind of stuff. And I'd love to go to other places and see their see what the difference would be with the different trees and different environments, different smells. Because I love the smell of an Aussie forest. So let me just check the map. So coming up here, on the map, it says that there's a left. And that left goes all the way down to some more of the, what looks like on the map, mining roads. Which I hope and I think is roughly where the point is that I want to look out from. The point that I've been trying to get to. And so, and this is the only real way to get there, because like the fence, but not sure if you can see it, but the fence is there. And that's definitely not something that I'm prepared to bother crossing today. This isn't meant to be a dangerous expedition. Plus it would involve wire cutters and stuff. So there really should be so many more geocaches in here. There's nowhere near enough. This is such a fantastic spot to go walking and to get out of the suburban area. There should be caches all over this place, in my opinion. But given that I'm not much of a hider of caches, it's probably not going to be me that does it. Okay, this is bad. The map the contour lines on the map suggest that there is a left turn at the bottom of this little dip, which is exactly where I'm at. There is a left turn, but it is regarded as private property. So the map says that road exists, which it does. Down there. And so, I do not believe it is possible to get to the point that I wanted to get to. So I'm going to sit down just here. Not surprised in the slightest, because I knew the point I was looking for was the top of a quarry, looking down. I knew that was the case. It was not not surprising that this is locked off to me. But it is very disappointing. So I'll take a screenshot here. Oops. If I put the screenshot here on the screen now, the little white dot with the green circle is where I was hoping to get to. So that's where you can see the quarry, and that was the lookout. That was where I was hoping to be able to see. But, kind of understandably, they want to keep a buffer between the dangerous part where you can fall and all that kind of stuff of the quarry, and where you can get to. That's fair enough. It's just very unfortunate for me, because I was hoping to get a good view from there. But it's just not to be. It's not going to happen. So I think I'm going to rest here before I start climbing a little bit again. And then we'll just start walking back. Back down towards where the bike is. Okay. Lunch is over. Well, we made it in the walk to this dam that's here, and it's such a beautiful spot. It's so peaceful. And I ended up just rolling out the oilskin poncho mat, whatever you want to call it, just on the other side of this log here, and having a nap. But I've gotten a text message saying that my bike's ready, so we're going to commence the kilometre and a bit walk back down. First we've got to go up, then we're going to go down to the car park and everything where the bike shop is. Anyway, that's what we're going to do now to finish off the day and then ride home. Lovely, lovely day.
And so that's everything. That is everything I've got up to date, up to now, for the variety vlog that is the Dak Bobby Freakout Hour. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you like it, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what I can improve, what I should do. If you want to come geocaching with me, let me know. or work something out, because I'll take somebody geocaching. It's a thought I've had. If you want to see me try something in the woods, let me know. If you liked the previous episodes with the quizzes and the sing-along music, let's do that as well. The Freakout Hour is meant to be more about me than about news and about what I do and what I like doing. And I just need a little bit more encouragement from my own brain, because self-confidence is a bitch. At least I find it to be a bit of a bitch anyway. I don't know about you. So thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Bobby Freakout Hour. I've really appreciated having you here at the beach, at the park near the beach. We're near the kiln in Rye, if you know where Rye is. Ash is under the table digging, and so she's not that inclined to come up and say hello. And Doctor's behind me, so you know what they look like. They say hi and bye just as much as I do. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks. Bye.